The Toronto Raptors straight up have been bad this season. The roster is poorly constructed, some players are underperforming, but adding on to the reason why they've been so bad is the coaching has been poor as well. But a lot of Raptors fans aren't ready for that conversation, but ready or not, here it comes today. Let's get into it. Welcome everybody to Amateur Hour Sports number 2, the second channel in the Amateur Hour Production Network for additional Toronto Raptors content, and sometimes in videos just like this one, we can do response videos to the discourse surrounding a video that I did on the main channel and questions that I asked in that main channel video. So an opportunity to rebuttal my stance from the main channel video where recently I spoke about Darko Rajakovic and how I have lost all faith in him as a head coach. I don't think it's going to work in Toronto. I don't think it's ever going to work. And look, I'm not saying fire the guy. Perhaps it looks bad. Perhaps like you really want to see what it's like for the season, but I don't think this is ever going to work. And he's been bad as a head coach this season. If you haven't seen the video, perhaps you should go back and watch that one. If you're thinking to yourself, F that, I'm watching this video, I don't want to go see another one. Well, the synopsis of that video pretty much is, yes, the roster's been bad. Yes, some of the players individually haven't been great, but also the coaching has been bad. And it's time to acknowledge that it has been very bad for the Raptors this season. Consistently, Darko Rajakovic does not come out with any semblance of a game plan, and when he does, oftentimes it's not good. Now, we had a rare occasion in that loss to the 76ers where the game plan out the gate was good, but as adjustments were made by the opposition, the Raptors failed to counter that, and in the end, the Sixers comfortably beat the Toronto Raptors. Yes, that's the Sixers, but there's so many examples this season where the Raptors come out flat. There's so many examples this season where they don't come out with any sort of game plan. And I'm sat there wondering, like, what are we even trying to do on the floor? What is this team even trying to do? Not to mention the fact that we have so many good defenders, and this team is very much bottom half of the league in defense. I haven't checked in a while, but I assume we're bottom 10 in the NBA now in defensive rating. So things are not going well. And it shouldn't be hard for Darko to get good defense out of a team that has OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, Jakob Poeltl, Precious Achiuwa, Chris Boucher. Like, Dennis Schroeder's not even a bad defender. Like, need I go on with the caliber of defensive pieces here? That should not be Darko's issue. The issue should be on offense. And we understand that there are these offensive issues with the team 100%. But he makes it so much harder on himself with the caliber of offense that he plays, the brand of offense that he plays. He's coaching the team he wants, not the team he has, and he's treating Dennis Schroeder like he's the best player on this team, when in reality he's probably the 5th, maybe 6th best player on this team. Siakam is an afterthought to any sort of game plan most of the time, and even when he was the focal point of the game plan in the first quarter against the Sixers, the Raptors won that. The Raptors were winning. The Raptors were successful. Then the rest of the game, it was like he was an afterthought once again. So all of these things accumulate to me not being a fan of Darko and thinking that he's a bad coach. And the Raptors got this one wrong as head coach. So I asked the community as well their thoughts on the events this season, their thoughts on Darko Rajakovic so far this season. And naturally, I assumed I was going to be in the minority with this one. I knew this was a bit of a hotter take. Lots of people want to give Darko the benefit of the doubt. I've done that too many times this season. So again, I'm pretty much fed up with it. So I asked simply in the community on the main channel, will Darko Rajakovic ever succeed as an NBA head coach in Toronto? And the 56% of people, so the majority of people here, say yes, he will succeed as an NBA head coach in Toronto. I left this question a bit more open-ended to be like on the no side of things now that I'm reading it back here. Like, will he ever succeed in Toronto? I think that's very, very unlikely. If I had asked, do you think Darko Rajakovic needs more time to really come up with a proper opinion on him as a coach? I think in that sense, then most of the, like, even more people, we maybe even get to like 70 to 80% of people saying that yes, he does need more time for us to really see things because the roster has been so bad. Which, I get, it's fair, but I've seen enough here. We've had a good sample here, and I'm just done with it. I made the video about it, and to be honest, was surprised by the amount of likes on the video percentage-wise. I did that video on Darko. It performed like decently well from a viewership standpoint, and 90.3% of the people who cared to share their opinion liked the video compared to dislikes. That, as humbly as possible, is on the lower end of things for my typical videos. Typically, I'm in the 95 plus range on average, I'd say. So 90% is a bit lower. And I assume this, but honestly, I assumed more dislikes would come on this one because of the harsh words against Darko. I wanted to try really hard. I didn't want to try. I tried really hard to like him as a coach. You know, he's a likable guy. He's just not a very good NBA head coach. And it's looking like candidates like Jordi Fernandez were the better options. And, you know, I don't, like, obviously the Canada stuff in the World Cup in the summer was impressive for Fernandez, but, like, we need to stop treating like that's all he's done. He's the associate head coach of the Kings. He runs an excellent offense with the Sacramento Kings. And people always say, well, he had Shea with Canada. He has De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis with the Sacramento Kings. Well, Darko in Toronto, he's got Pascal Siakam, who's made an all-star team twice, who's made an all-NBA team twice. Scotty Barnes, if the Raptors had a better record, would have a great chance of being an all-star this season. So you've got talent here. You've got talent on the roster like Schroeder, Anunoby, Barnes, Siakam, Poeltl. That's a good crop of players for your starting five. Like maybe Dennis Schroeder's not quite NBA caliber starting point guard, but you have three excellent forwards, three potential max contract forwards. Siakam is on a max and might get another one. I think OG could creep up towards a max this summer, and Barnes is about to get a rookie max extension. Like, these are three extremely talented players, and you have a very talented center as well. Like, certainly, you know, as far as starting centers go in the NBA, perhaps I'd say he's top 15, but like a very serviceable piece to have there rim protection-wise and scoring-wise in Jakob Poeltl. This team should not be 11-17. This team should not struggle to get stops. This team should not struggle to score consistently. And all of these things reign true for this team. And as much as, like, you know, construction-wise there's issues, coaching is an issue as well. Like, the biggest thing, of course, is the roster stuff, but coaching is an issue. But people want to put their blinders up for some reason. They don't want to have this conversation because, like, they think it's a small sample size. Like, it is, like, decently small sample size, but it's enough of a sample here now at 28 games where there should at least be progression. There should at least be, okay, this is getting better. We're starting to do this. This is starting to work. Once we, like, fine-tune this, it's going to be working. We don't have any of that. If anything, the team is worse off than it was to start the season. Certainly, like, they were hovering on 500 to start the season. Now they're not. They're way behind pace of 500. There's some easier games coming up, yes, where, you know, hopefully you can beat the Jazz. Hopefully you can beat the Wizards. Hopefully you can beat the Pistons, and in the mix of that, it's a Boston Celtics game. But, like, certainly 3 of the next 4 games are very winnable. But do I even trust the Raptors to win those winnable games? I don't. I don't have faith in the team. I don't have faith in Darko Rajakovic to get game plans right. And for that reason, like, we're going to struggle. Like, it's not going to be likely a walk in the park here. And a lot of the times, even though the roster is bad, it's still good enough to hide Darko's deficiencies. Like, Siakam is good enough that when Darko refuses to put him in any sort of game plan, Siakam still finds ways to carve his way through traffic and get to the bucket. Scotty Barnes too. Dennis Schroeder doesn't really do it, but he stumbles into some good nights from 3 because he's always open, because teams do not care about him that much on the perimeter. So a lot of the ways Darko's coaching this team are being masked by the top-end talent. Yeah, like, you know, the bench sucks, but we know it's bad. So playing 4 bench players at once with Scotty Barnes probably isn't a very good strategy for your lineups. There's just a whole host of things Darko's doing to make his life harder. It's using Schroeder too much, using Siakam too little. It's the lineups. It's the lack of adjustments. It's the lack of game plan. Like, using a 3-game win streak, buying guys dinner, they win 3 games in a row as a motivational tool. I don't know. I just feel like there's better ways in the NBA to work on this motivational aspect that clearly is lacking, like it was lacking in that Sixers game. The Raptors in 15 out of 28 games this season have been down by 10 in the first half, 10 or more in the first half. In 21 out of 28 games, they've been down by 10 or more at some point in the game. So many issues that you can attribute to coaching along with the front office. So to me, let's not, like, waste these years here. People are saying I want to see Darko with, you know, a good core, a good young core that he can work with and develop. I'd rather see a better coach with that core. I don't want to waste a good potential young core of the future that we don't have yet. But if we get it at some point, I don't want to waste that young core on Darko's coaching, because I don't think it's very good. And that's all there is to it on my end. So people are, afraid to make these bold claims. Usually I don't shy away. I usually try to give people time, not make bold claims like this, but I have no choice here. It's been bad, and Darko Rajakovic is a big reason why. And 56% of people thinking he'll succeed in Toronto. Like, what does success look like? Finishing 10th and losing the first round of the play-in tournament? That might be what success defined for some people this season. But to me, that's not. I want to see progression. The wins, losses, like, whatever. That's 11-17 is bad, but I can forgive that if I see progress and I see good performances. But even in games the Raptors win this season, I'm leaving the game stressed and upset because they played so poorly. And Darko is not doing anything in regards to solving those things. So that's why I have to say it's been bad. He has been bad, and my faith in him is gone. Because even when the game plan is staring him in the face, that would work, he doesn't go to it. So what do you guys think? Do you think this is ever going to work? Do you rate Darko Rajakovic as an NBA head coach? Give me your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Smash that like button if you enjoyed. I guess smash that dislike button if you didn't. And I'll see you guys soon on this channel for some more videos. Gonna take a bit of the holiday period off, so won't be, there hasn't been consistent videos here anyways, but doing my best. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas if you celebrate. Check out my other channels. Check out this video you might like, and I'll see you again very soon for more from Amateur Sports 2.